Hey, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and maybe in some countries, good night. Again and again, welcome to another Bliss webinar for the year 2022. Yes, this is a great session that many people and agents and attendees, they are waiting for it, for the MEGA DUO volcano. And till we wait everyone to join, let's first remember what happened in the Bliss 2021. Let's see this video all together. Thank you. Welcome to Beirut Life Insurance Seminar, Bliss 2021.
James.
Welcome, everyone. What a great pleasure to see you here. This session is not a normal one. This session is very special because it's combined three essential pillars that are very dear to my heart. In this session, first, we will have a deep understanding of technical skills needed to upgrade your knowledge with the one and only Dr. Sanjay Tolandi, my friend, my brother. In this session also, we will shape your mental and physical energy with the outstanding Kenyan Salo, who will share his great insight for peak performance. And yes, we will also discuss the structure of Bliss 2022 with its new theme, now what? Yes, we are all wondering, now what? After everything that happened recently. And stay tuned to know more regarding Bliss 2022. With Dr. Sanjit, we will learn and upgrade the mind. With Kenyan, we will energize the body and the soul. And with the Bliss 2022, you will see what's happening in my heart. Please allow me to introduce Dr. Sanjay Tolani, my brother. Over the last, before I introduce Sanjay, This session, it will be moderated by me and my friend and brother and my consultant, Jad W. Dagher, all the way from Cyprus. Jad, are you ready?
Of course.
Great. Over the last decade, Dr. Sanjay Tolani has mentored over hundreds of thousands of financial advisors on how to do proper financial planning through his own community, Sanjay Mentoring Family. He is also over 20 years member of the $1 Million Roundtable, the premium association for financial professionals, with 2 court of the table and maybe 15, 16 top of the table honor, and 7 years platinum dragon. He became the youngest member in 2003 at the age of 19, and then qualified as the youngest life member in 2012 at the age of 28. He also became the youngest managing director of an insurance broker in the Middle East and all around the world. Before we welcome him, please watch this video.
The Mahatma of the life insurance profession, Dr. Sanjay Tolani.
What I call the 4th necessity. Right? So we talk about the 3 necessities of life: food, clothing, and shelter. Insurance is the 4th necessity. If you don't have insurance, you can lose the other 3. And that's why life insurance will always be important. I came to you 3 times and you didn't listen to me. And for this, you go to hell. Mr. Klein, I'm sure I'm not the first insurance agent that's come to speak to you, but I might be the last. You see, I am a messenger of God. Each one of you is a messenger of God. Each one of you is protecting a family that is not yours. So when you're thinking about quitting from this business, think about the responsibility that you have on that family that you're going to orphan by not being in this business.
Yeah. Jad, first of all, thank you for your time and thank you for being here and for everything you're doing for Bliss and for our lovely profession, the life insurance and Beirut Life Insurance Seminars. And also, let me introduce a very special and big speaker, Kenyon Salo. He has dedicated himself to living life to the fullest and helping others to do the same. Through his passions for adventure, storytelling, and connecting with people, he found a simple process that he is going to share with us today to give us on a path to what we must of us crave, living a more fulfilled life. I hope you are excited as we are to have this amazing speaker with us. But before we welcome him, please, let's watch this video, Kenyon Salo.
King.
The audience played at 100%. They were just like off the hook, the energy, the excitement.
If it's okay with you, can I buy your groceries today?
Who are you?
I'd like to buy your groceries today.
Wow, my goodness.
Really grateful that I was invited to come to this event because it's truly a special place and it's something that the world needs to know more about.
Great session. Shad, before we start and have our big speaker with us, what you have for us and for all the attendees.
Great. Thank you, Raji. Thank you for being here. Also, Dr. Sanjay and Kenyon, it's really a pleasure. And the big thanks, Naji, to you is for everything you're doing. Before we start, I would like to share a quick poll. And we need your opinion before we take it and see some results. So you will have a link now in the chat. So once you click on it, you will see 4 questions. So we won't take a lot of your time to see 4 questions. The first one is, what is challenging you the most in the sales process? We are sure there are many challenges inside the sales process, but what would be technically the most important challenge for you in the sales process? So that also can, Dr. Sanjay can focus on it during his discussion. And the second question, which from that answer also Kenyon will focus on that. What personal issues are holding you back? So of course there are many things like balance in the wheel of life, the mood swings, personal challenges in family, remote working, or if you have other challenges. So you can click on all the things in the second question that are technically holding you back. And if there are other things, you can put them in the other. The third question, how are you upgrading your skills? So usually, how do you upgrade your skills? Currently, is it in reading books, online videos, subscribing to websites and forums, attending webinars, having a coach, or other things that you do to upgrade your skills? Please, in all the answers, be as objective as possible so that we get to see the true picture. And so we're going to be discussing only the total, the statistics. So it's good to be very objective about it. And the last question is regarding Bliss 2022. So what topics would you like to learn during this 2022? So we're going also to discuss the structure at the end. So would you like to have a combination of technical knowledge about other types of investments, awareness about Bitcoin, mutual funds, Forex, real estate, etc., sales techniques, work-life balance, skills in public speaking, listening, creativity, eye contact, body language, stress management, certification programs, recruitment techniques, delegation and management techniques, technology skills for optimizing your online experience, or any other things. So please tick all that applies. And in less than 1 minute, we're going to see the results together. So to have an idea about your input.
So we're waiting the result, Jad?
Yes, just to see how many results we have so far.
Dr. Sanjay, where are you now? In which country?
So I am right now in Malaysia.
Oh, wow, man. So how many flights you are taking per day?
Well, my flying has come back to, well, not to the pre-COVID levels, but at least I've started moving around. So I did have a session a few days back in Singapore. I had a session a few days back in Malaysia. I've got another session in Malaysia a couple of days from now. So that's why I'm here. And then I fly off to India, Dubai. Hopefully after that, I will see you in Boston.
Excellent, excellent. For sure, we will see each other in Boston. So, Jad, first of all, Sanjay, thank you so much for having, I know how you're so busy schedule, to having the time to be with us in this very special session with our friend and brother also, Kenyon Saro, all the way from America. Before we start the questioning and to dig insight about all the skills that we need to learn and to adopt from you, do you have any special message for all the attendees that they are watching us from different countries in the world?
I think the most important message that I would leave everyone with, that I want you all to focus on, is pick one good idea from today. So you will hear a lot of good ideas. You'll hear a lot of strategies. You will hear opinions. You will hear, the way people do things. What you need to do is pick up that one idea that you can use today. I know a lot of us are focusing on our business from a very long-term perspective. But if you break down your long-term into short terms and you achieve your short-term goals, your long-term goal automatically gets achieved. So pick one good idea that you can use as soon as the session is over. And that idea is what you run with. You need more ideas? Trust me, you will find many ways to get ideas. But pick up that one idea today that will motivate you to work tomorrow. That one idea that could potentially change your business tomorrow. And that one idea that could make you stand out of all the other people in this business.
Wow. Wow.
Can I cheat,
Thank you,
Sanjay, and take one idea from you and one idea from Kenyon?
I can promise you, Kenyon will motivate you to really do what you need to do. So don't miss out on that level of motivation, right? So Kenyon and I have spoken together. I've known Kenyon for a long time. I remember the first time when Kenyon spoke at MDRT, him and I got to speak at the green room, and he shared some very interesting motivational strategies in the way he brain tunes himself to do things that others would be scared to do. So overcoming that fear is where you should definitely pick up an idea. And in our business, we do tend to have fear. We have the fear of starting a conversation. We have the fear of calling back for a follow-up. We have the fear of so many things. And Kenyon does share some good ideas on how to overcome that fear. So definitely don't miss out on that, that message that Kenyon brings to you.
Great.
Excellent.
So, Jad,
I'm going to share, yes.
You will share the result?
Yes, I'm sharing some results. So based on the answers that we have now, so can you see them? So
not me.
Technically, what is challenging you the most in the sales process? So 50%, they said the closing. 37.5%, they said prospecting. And 12.5%, they said servicing. Nobody said handling objections. Interesting. Okay, so the second question, what personal issues are holding you back? So I think it's equal here between no balance in the wheel of life, the mood swings, and the personal challenges in the family. So these are the top three challenges in equally, technically. And remote working then comes next. So good to see others' problems as well. How are you upgrading your skills? Online videos is taking the best. It's 68.8%, followed by attending webinars, 56.3%. Then we got reading books, subscribing to websites and forums, and having a coach. And last thing is attending a training class. All right. And what topics would you like to learn during this 2022? So hopefully we can hit as much as possible, but on top of the list comes skills in public speaking, listening, and other soft skills. Then comes the sales techniques at 52.9%, technical knowledge about other investments, 47%, also at 47%, technology skills. And then come the other things like delegation and management, awareness about Bitcoin and mutual funds and other investment techniques, work-life balance, and the other things as well. So good to know regarding the results. Of course, for those who are there, so if you keep on answering, so we will get more and more answers, and we will share the results with you later on after the session.
And Jad, thank you. Great to know what the attendees they want to know about. And here, let me go directly to the first question with Sanjay. Sanjay, prospecting is the name of the game. What are the top three prospecting tips you can share with us and with our attendees?
Okay. Prospecting has always been, I think, one of the most difficult parts of our business, right? People talk about who do I talk to? I don't know. I want to give one very quick tip. I'll give you three, but let's start with the one most important one. And I love the most important first rather than the least important. So let's start with the most important tip. Number one is understanding who you like to work with. If you don't know who you like to work with, you will be very miserable in this business. When I joined this business many, many years ago, my trainer told me that, Sanjay, if you put a finger under someone's nose and there's warm air, they're your prospect. And I can promise you that's not the correct way to do it. So first of all, identify who will be the person that you want to work with. So identify what are the type of clients that you want to work with. That's number one. The second most important thing is understanding what kind of advice you would give them. So when it comes to prospecting, I want you all to go through your phone book. Every single one of you, I promise you, knows more than 1,000 people. And all those people need a financial advisor at some point in their life. If you don't speak to them, talking to a stranger doesn't help. So when I joined this business, the other thing they told me was, Sanjay, you probably need to do cold calling. And what I've realized with cold calling is it's very difficult to get someone's attention in today's day and age. Attention of a client or a prospect is your biggest asset. If someone gives you that attention, to be able to speak to them for a few minutes, don't lose that opportunity. Now, what I do tell people is in prospecting, you need to learn to practice. So I'll give you a simple example. When you meet someone, what is your conversation going to sound like? So prospecting is as important as your conversation starters. If you don't have a conversation starter, I could put you in front of the best person that you're supposed to work with. But if you don't know how to continue that conversation or start that conversation, that prospect has no meaning. So prospecting is not just about finding people, but it's also about how to have those conversations. So that's the second most important tip. And the third most important tip is, how are you going to stay memorable? And I want you to think about this. What makes you memorable? Every single individual in the world meets hundreds of people every day. What makes you stand out? So that's the third most important tip in prospecting. So number one, you should know who you want to work with. What are the type of clients you're looking for? Number two, how are you going to start those conversations? So what is your conversation going to start to look like? And number three, how are you going to be memorable and stand out from the rest of the people that your clients will meet? If you don't get these three things correct, the best prospecting strategy doesn't work.
Great,
Excellent.
great. Kenyon, do you have any other insights about prospecting? Any tip about that would be useful?
Absolutely. When it comes to prospecting, the number one thing is you actually have to prospect. You have to be willing to step out of your comfort zone, say hello to somebody, and start a conversation. Now, as Sanjay says, you don't know if that person is going to be right for you or you're going to be right for them. But ultimately, you have to start it. Take, for example, anytime you've flown on an airplane. You're on an airplane, you got an empty seat next to you, and you're watching the people come on the plane. And you're like, you're like, who's going to sit there? And you're watching the people come on the plane. You're like, yeah, that person's going to be great. Yeah. Oh, darn, no. Oh, And then all of a sudden someone sits down next to you and you're so excited and you're sitting next to this person and you hope that they're truly amazing and you don't talk to them and you hope that they don't talk to you the whole flight. You see, that's what happens is we're so afraid to be able to say hello. And I always say one of the easiest ways is to take a British voice and be like, hello. And look, I get it. I know my British accent is horrendous, but it doesn't matter. The thing is you've broken the ice. You said hello, and then you start that conversation and you see if something is there. And if you can do that, you never know what's going to come after that. And that's the key thing, is just saying hello and breaking that and then seeing how it unfolds from there. It could be somebody, it could be a business partner, could be somebody, could be the love of your life. It could be somebody who is just your best friend. I've had people do this in audiences and they've met each other and then found out that they are long distance relatives, that they are actually relatives. And that blows my mind. And it just comes down to the fact that they said hello. So that's probably the biggest thing with prospecting is the willingness to prospect, to say hello.
As simple as that. Great, great. Wonderful. Sanjay, I have a question. There's always a debate between having a fact find for the sales conversation or the sales presentation, or moving into, some people know how to sell through using a fact find. Some people just don't like it. I know you have a lot to say about that. But what do you advise people between this struggle of having or not having a fact find, and how would you move technically to concept presentations with less resistance?
Okay, Jad, I think one of the most important things in our business is understanding that our clients are not looking at buying in short. insurance is still not a priority, or it never has been a priority for our clients. So before you go into the whole fact-finding process of trying to find out what the insurance gap is, what their financial gaps are, what are their retirement plans, what are their plans for their future, all of that, before you go into that, you need to know, are they even willing to listen to you, right? So it's about selling the concept of insurance and what insurance does. That's step one. And then once they have agreed to buy, they will give you all the facts. And that's the best part of the story, that you don't need the facts. They will give you the facts once you've given them a reason to give it to you. So it always, the sales process always starts with a concept presentation. Why do you even need to buy insurance? Because if the why is clear, the how, the what, the which, that all just comes after that. So fact finding is how much insurance you need, why you, what product to buy, who to buy it from. That is the fact finding process. All the how, what, which, all that only comes after you have clarified that you've got why do you even need to do it in the first place. So concept presentation is all talking about the why. The how, what, which is the fact finding. So that comes as the second part. So if you focus on the why first, the rest just fall into place. And that's the most important thing, that start a conversation on why they need to do it. Why do you need to plan for retirement? I have clients who tell me, Sanjay, I don't even plan to retire. I don't want to retire. So why do they even need to do retirement planning? If I don't plan to retire, why do I need to do it? Sanjay, I'm so healthy, I'm never going to fall sick. You know, I watch my health, I do regular health checkups. It's not going to happen to me. That's the objection. So before you get to fact finding, you have to do your concept presentation, handle those objections that they give you, and then your fact finding becomes the next important thing. And when you did that survey that we just did right now, the poll, right, you realized closing was the biggest problem. Now, the reason why closing is the biggest problem is because step one and step two is wrong. If you've got the why clear, you've got the objection handling sorted out, and you've got the fact finding done, the closing should be an automatic. Your closing strategies are all dependent on what you do in step one and step two. Closing is always step three. Now, everyone's focusing on the close. If they focus on the open, the close is automatic. And guys, I want you all to remember this, that instead of focusing on closing your case, try to give your best advice and open more. Your closing ratio is a percentage of how many cases you open. If you open a lot of cases, whatever your closing ratio, it's very good. That's the best part, right? So we can improve your closing ratio, but your opening ratio needs to already be very high. And that's the biggest mistake that we make. And if you open your conversations with the why, the how, what, which becomes very easy.
Excellent. Naji, we can't hear you. Naji, sorry.
Now you can
Yes.
hear me? Okay. So I was saying, yes, Sanjay, 100%. It's all about the why. And thank you for this. And this is not only about the closing a case. This is everything in life. Because whenever we see the why we're doing this, everything it will follow. And here also, before I go, Sanjay, with you to the third question, let me also say, because to prepare such session, it's not easy at all, with all the effort that we're doing. And here I want to say thank you for Legacy Builders team, especially for Sharbil and Marie-Noël. And also, I want to say thank you for Eli, Damian, the Damcon group to go live. And you can, for everyone who cannot go into Zoom, you can watch us on Facebook Live. Thank you, Eli and the team, Damcon group. Eli and Damcom also, they will be our partner and support in Bliss 2022 for this year in October. Sanjay, when you do everything right, but the deal still doesn't close, are there any golden tips that you recommend?
Sanjay, you are muted.
Sanjay, are you?
All right.
Sorry.
All right. So when you do everything right and the deal still doesn't go through, it's probably just not the right time. All right. So I want you all to understand one thing. In our business, we have realized that our clients don't feel the urgency to buy insurance. You see, insurance is a decision that loves to be delayed. I know I need insurance, but not today. I need it in the future. I know I don't want to plan my retirement today, but I know I need to do my retirement planning. So you've done everything correct. What usually happens is clients want to postpone that decision. One of the simplest tips that I would give to you is, number one, keep one thing in mind, that the longer a client takes, the more money you make. Think about it. The premium is only going to increase. The premium never goes down. Now, if the premium increases, there's a higher probability that you will earn more money. What you need to keep in mind is keeping a correct follow-up pattern. Don't ever lose touch with your prospects. Don't lose touch with your clients. You need to stay in touch with people. We are a high-touch, low technology business. We are a high-touch, low technology business, which means the more you stay in touch with people, the more business you will get in this industry. We are a relationship business. It's not a transaction. If a transaction is not happening today, it's okay. Maintain that relationship. The correct time will come. That's number one. The second tip that I would give you is allow your clients to feel the purchase, right? So if they are not willing to still make a decision, give them the opportunity to get free insurance. We all have a free look period in our products, right? Why don't you tell your clients that, you know what, I understand you don't want to buy, but why don't I cover you for 2 weeks just for free? Doesn't cost you anything. Just submit an application. Let me get the approvals. Doesn't cost you anything. If you feel like keeping it, keep it. If you don't feel like keeping it, give it back. Give them the opportunity to feel a product. Give them the opportunity to feel the peace of mind that comes with buying an insurance policy. You never know what happens in those 2 weeks that they are potentially covered. So I'll give you an example. There was a client of my father, many, many years ago. There was a client of my father, and he said, I don't want to buy insurance, right? And my dad told him, listen, I want you to just feel the product. All right. So I'm going to apply for your product. I'm going to apply for your insurance policy. I'm going to come and give you the policy. And in 2 weeks, if you don't need that policy, give it back to me and I'll refund your money. And he's like, Ram, enough. I really don't want to buy. And he's like, I'm insisting on this one. Now, because my father insisted, he did buy the insurance. However, a week later, he passed away. Now, why am I sharing the story? We all believe we have enough time. We all believe that won't happen to me. And that's what our clients believe. And that's the reason why they don't feel the urgency. It's our duty as financial advisors to let them feel the comfort of having that product. That family till today, that family has been recommending clients to our family for a very simple reason, that my father insisted that they have the peace of mind, even though it was only for 2 weeks. So I want you all to think about this. Every single person that you meet with, why don't you give them the experience of the peace of mind of having life insurance? Let them just have that experience, even if they don't want to keep it after that. You have done your job. So you don't have that guilt that when I had the option to protect them, I didn't, right? So that's number one. That's number two. So number one, understand they never feel urgent. It's our responsibility to remind them of that urgency. But again, if they don't feel it, it's okay. Number two, please understand that no one is looking forward to buying insurance. It's not their priority. So you have to be in touch with them. You have to keep that relationship with them. They will buy at the right time. And number three, let them experience the peace of mind. If they experience that peace of mind, they might just keep it. So that's the three very quick tips that I could give you when it comes to handling clients where you've done everything right and still things don't go your way.
Thank you, man.
Great. Wonderful. Kenyon, do you have any other tips in this regard? So when you go to when somebody is trying to close a deal, they did everything they could do, and they just couldn't close it. So what would you recommend? Something that usually works.
Absolutely. What Sanjay is saying, I want everybody to really take it to heart. I want everybody to really think about what Sanjay is saying in terms of really understanding. And one of the ways to really understand somebody is to listen. And so many people don't listen. What they're doing is they're hearing so that they can immediately respond. And when it comes to sales, it happens so often that they're hearing something and then they immediately want to give feedback or give an answer to or overcome an objection. Where instead, it's about asking a question, which is what Sanjay's saying, then listening, then asking again, then listening, then asking again, and then listening. And says, so as you go through the process and you get to the point where you've overcome all their objections, and the highest percentage on that poll was, how do I close? The number one thing that keeps people from closing is that they forget or they're too afraid to ask for the sale. They're too afraid to ask for the sale so that there can be a closing. What we hope happens is that we've said enough, we've shown enough, you've seen the PowerPoints, here's all the documents, here's all the things, I've answered all of your questions, and we hope that the person that we're in front of simply says, I'm ready to buy. I'm ready to sign right now. Let's do this. But what they need just prior to that is somebody saying, are you ready? I'm here to ask for your sale. I'm here to get you going. Exactly what Sanjay is saying, whereas let's submit this so that you understand what it feels like to have the product. It is that little simple step. I've done 8,000 skydives out of airplanes. I can prepare all I want on the ground. I can think mentally all the things that I want to do. But if I don't actually take the action of jumping out of the plane, I'll never skydive. And if you don't actually take the action of asking for the sale, you won't get the sale. Now, sometimes someone could push me out of the plane. Yeah, now I'm in free fall. It's going to happen. And sometimes your client will say, yes, I'm ready to sign. But just like if you're sitting at home, you hope the phone will ring. It's not going to ring as much as, you're not going to get the close as much as if you pick up the phone and take action for yourself. And so that's the value add that I'd like to build on what the amazing Sanjay has already added.
Excellent, excellent. Dr. Sanjay, I have a technical question. Especially now with the rise of investment options and the crypto and all the real estate and different options in investment. So besides the fact that everybody is into investment now, and especially that banks are giving low interest rates, so this is opening more and more the door for investment opportunities. But regarding agents, do you advise them to get more awareness on investment options, to be like really advising on different investment options, or to stay 100% focused on the life insurance offering? What do you think?
So here I would like to share two opinions, right? Number one is understanding what our job is. Majority of our clients are busy with their own profession or with their own business. I want you to think about this, right? What's the specialty of a doctor? The specialty of a doctor is to sit and give medical advice and medical treatment. How much time do you think the doctor has to overlook investments? Think about this, right? Number two, if you're a business owner, you're very worried about the way your business works. You're very worried about the way you are servicing your own clients, the way you're getting new clients. And that's what you're spending your time doing, is focusing on building your business. How much time do you have to manage your investments? So most of our clients who are professionals, either doctors, lawyers, engineers, accountants, they are too busy doing what they do best, which is their job. They don't have the time to manage money. They don't have the time to manage investments, and they become what we call weekend investors, right? So they only look at their investments over the weekend or when they have free time. It's not their everyday job. So I asked them a simple question. Do you want to have the risk of managing your money, or do you want to give it to somebody else whose only job is managing money? Right? So you have to make that decision, Mr. Client, that do you want to be the person carrying that risk, or do you want to pass on that risk? And that's where an insurance company comes into play. Any risk that you don't like, give it to the insurance company. Any risk that you want to keep, do it yourself, right? So it comes down to what risk you want to keep and what risk do you want to diversify, or what we say transfer. Any risk that you want to transfer, I am willing to take away from you. Any risk that you want to keep, you can keep it for yourself. So insurance is not about a product. It's not about, that, okay, should I do life insurance? Should I do investments? No, it's helping your clients take away any risk that they don't like. So if they don't like the risk of investments, give it to an insurance company. The insurance company will manage it. If they don't like the risk of trying to predict which stock will go up, which stock will come down, you have a lot of investment companies that manage the portfolio for them, right? So we call it mutual funds, or we call them what we call unit-linked funds. You're basically passing on the risk to a person whose only responsibility or only work is to manage that risk. For example, what is the probability of death? It's 100%. It's going to happen. Now, when it happens, which it will, when it happens, what's the plan? That is a risk most families don't know how to manage. That is the reason why life insurance as a product was created. When you fall sick, right? When you fall sick, that's a risk we actually don't know how to manage. Where do I get my treatment? How much will it cost? All those are risks that you want to pass on. I talk to clients and they tell me, Sanjay, I don't want to retire, right? I agree. You might not want to retire, but there are two scenarios in which you will be forced to retire. In case you fall sick, you will be forced to retire. So you don't want to retire, but you'll be forced to retire. Number two, when you get to a certain age, you will physically be forced to retire. You will not, even though your mind might be very active, you physically won't be able to do a lot of things. So there are two scenarios in which you want the option to retire. That when I fall sick, what's my retirement plan? And when I reach a certain age where I physically cannot do anything anymore, what's my retirement plan? That is our responsibility. So as financial advisors, we should be studying about all the different types of investments in the world. We should be talking about and learning about economic theory, etc., etc. So it's important to learn all of that. But when it comes down to risk transfer, you need to learn to remind your clients that they are what we call weekend investors, not full-time investors. They're not sitting and studying the markets. They're just following somebody else who said something, right? They watched a YouTube video and they said, I'm going to follow that YouTube video. They watched a commercial or they saw a news podcast and they're like, wait a second, I should be investing in that. They are what we call weekend investors. Weekend investors always lose money to professional investors. Keep that in mind. So risk that you don't want to keep, learn to transfer it away. And that's our responsibility as financial advisors, as insurance advisors, to take away the risk that our clients should not have. Passing this knowledge to your clients is our responsibility. This is part of concept presentation, explaining the concept of risk transfer, right? So that's the answer to a very simple question, but quite long.
Very well answered.
This is wonderful. This is simple and wonderful as you passing the risk to the insurance or investment company that any client or prospect they need. Sanjay, before I move to another question, and after this we will start our question to our friend Kenyan Salo. Let me show you a beautiful picture about my lovely Beirut, this country that showed the world the meaning of resilience and hope, that whatever happened, we will never give up and we will continue till the end. And this is the picture of the port of Beirut, where the explosion happened in August 2020. And I hope this will not happen again in any country in the world, and God bless everyone. And from here, today, we are going live from the Grand Hilton Habtoor, that again and again, that this year, Bliss 2022, 6, 7, and 8 October, the event will go live from here, and you can see this beautiful picture in Lebanon. Sanjay, now that COVID measures are decreasing, will you keep working remotely? What do you advise agents? Stay online or go back to physical meetings?
I have a very strong opinion on this matter. All right. So guys, some of you might agree, some of you might not agree, but let me give you a very strong opinion in the way that I'm building my practice. I was a guy who does not believe in doing Zoom calls, right? I'm not a very web-based guy. I don't like doing it for a very simple reason. There's a lot of mismatch in terms of body language. A lot of things get misinterpreted. You cannot feel the person. You can't look into their eyes and have a real conversation. However, it does save a lot of time. So when I'm doing policy reviews, where it's not about a sale, but just about connecting with people, please learn to use this technology. You have actually found, people have adopted this strategy to stay in touch, which is great. So this COVID was what we call a catalyst to adoption of a web conversation. We've always had this technology, we just never adopted it. COVID forced us to use this technology to stay in touch. However, one thing is for sure, a sale closes faster face-to-face. So don't lose the opportunity of meeting people. Learn to find this very good balance of doing Zoom calls, doing web calls, and getting into the habit of meeting people, because meeting people, your closing ratio is definitely higher. I am sitting in a hotel room right now in Malaysia, and I'm doing Zoom calls with clients that I cannot meet with. So clients in Dubai, clients in Lebanon, clients in Africa, clients in other Southeast Asian countries. I am in touch with them using this technology. However, I am in Malaysia and I am meeting with clients here as well. So when you have the opportunity to meet face-to-face, please meet face-to-face. Your closing ratio goes up. But use this technology to be able to meet clients who you otherwise would not be able to meet. They might be busy with their work. They might be busy with their life. Use this technology to get in touch with them. So learn to use a combination of the two. Face-to-face, higher closing ratio. Zoom calls, higher connectivity ratio. So think about that, right? So you want to make sure that you've got a high connectivity ratio and a high closing ratio. So how do you do that? Your connectivity increases using Zoom calls. Your closing increases with face-to-face calls. If you don't combine the two and you only stick to one, you will be losing out on the opportunity that you have. So use the technology to stay connected, but make sure you do your face-to-face meetings, because your closing ratio is significantly higher when you meet with a person. That handshake, still a requirement. That hug, still a requirement. Looking into that eyes and having that conversation, still a requirement. That is the secret to actually becoming successful in our profession.
Excellent, excellent. Kenyon, do you have another insight on this?
Absolutely. It really comes down to connecting. And as humans, we want to connect, and we want to do that in person. That's why it was so hard for so many of us to have that connection taken away. And so in an instant, it was all taken away and everybody had to scramble. As a speaker, I had to scramble to figure out how to deliver my message virtually. Additionally, I had to figure out how to start to connect with people in terms of getting more speaking engagements. What has happened since then? Well, I find that it used to be just phone calls when I was talking to clients. Now the opportunity, especially if somebody's in a different state or country, I have the ability to use a Zoom call or a platform like this to be able to connect with that person that I can visually see. And then I get enough information so that when I do meet that person, client, in person, it's a game changer. I already feel like I know them to a certain level. And then when I'm around them, I can understand and feel their energy and really get to know who they are. And that's really what it comes down to, is those stepping stones of actually connecting. You see, in life, it is about connecting, and connecting is the bond that really brings us together. When we connect, it's about friends and family. And the best way to connect is to understand someone's story and also share your own story. And when you do those things, people start to get to know who you are. As Sanjay says, it's not about buying a product. People don't buy products and services. I really want you to understand that. People do not buy products and services. They buy you. They buy who you are, what you stand for, your integrity, your morals, your values, the story behind you, and the fact that you want to help that person. When you put that stuff on the table and people feel that, especially when it's in person, they say, yeah, I want to do business with this person. You know, we always joke about like, take my money, take my money. That gets to the point that happens when somebody has really connected with another human being, that they will trust you and they will follow you. As Sanjay says, it really comes down to the fact that you want to mitigate the risk. I really want you to think about, I'll use an analogy here about doing skydiving. If I was to bring you to a skydive drop zone and just put you on an airplane and then push you out the door, would you be ready to do that? That is the equivalent of somebody just putting some money into the markets and just saying, hey, buy whatever, let's just see what happens. What's the worst that could happen? Well, we all know what the worst that could happen is. And it really comes down to the fact that you can then pass over that risk to somebody that knows what they're doing, like a guide, an instructor, somebody that can take care of you. So a lot of people that want to come skydiving, their very first skydive is with a tandem instructor. They take all the risk off themselves. They say, I'm just going to be here along for the ride. I trust you. I know that you're well trained. I know that you have the qualifications to make sure I'm safe. That is the same in the insurance industry. You have all the qualifications and you are able to make sure that that client is safe. And on top of that, feels safe. That's the key thing, is that the client feels safe when they're along for the ride with you, whether it's jumping out of an airplane or they're investing their money into your products and instruments so that they feel safe and are safe down the road, so that they don't have a financial death, just like you would have if you went skydiving without any knowledge.
Can I add a skydiving joke to that one?
100%, Sanjay.
I was going to say.
So I met with, I saw this T-shirt in a skydive drop zone because I love skydiving as much as Kenyon. I haven't jumped as many times as Kenyon. Kenyon's done 8,000. I've done 8, so I've got 3 zeros missing. But I remember this T-shirt, and it was written, "You don't need a parachute to skydive, but if you want to skydive twice, you need a parachute," right? So a lot of our clients, they think they want to do skydiving, but they can only do it once if they don't do it with the parachute. And that's what we are, right? We're the parachute that allows them to do skydiving over and over and over again. So if you want to do skydiving twice, make sure you have a parachute. If you want to just do skydiving, that's all right. You don't need a parachute. Once and you're done. So that just reminded me when Kenyon said, right, that you need that instructor or coach with you to help you get there. So thanks for sharing that, Kenyon. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
This is great. And Kenyon also, it's great that all the audience now, they are an agent and not a customer or clients, because you are comparing buying insurance like jumping from the airplane. So thank God all the audience is an agent.
That's right.
So Kenyon, let me stay with you here and ask you, mindset is very important to be full productive. What are the best tips to improve the mindset status?
Absolutely. You know, I really believe it doesn't matter whether I jump out of airplanes or you drive super, super safe to work. The number one thing that puts us all on a level playing field is that none of us knows if we have a tomorrow. And so many of us know people that didn't have a tomorrow. And we all believe that we're going to end up being in the rocking chair on the porch, looking over the wonderful green fields in our 90s. And we think that that is where we're going. The thing is that because none of us knows if we have a tomorrow, we have to take action for what is today. And so every time that I wake up in the morning, I have a choice to make. When I wake up, I've been given the opportunity for another day. And that opportunity is in front of me. And that choice comes down to, do I want to show up for this day at 100%? Or am I only going to show up for this day at 50%? Now, sometimes maybe you're not feeling super well. You already know that you can't show up to your day for 100%. You're just going to do your best. But other times you wake up and immediately maybe you check your phone and then there's some stuff and you feel like there's some fires to put out and now you're already behind the curve. I want you to just take a moment when you start your day to say, how do I want this day to unfold? Am I willing to play at 100%? Okay, I am willing to play at 100%. I'm going to do my best with what I have for today. That's the very first thing that starts you on mindset to going in the direction to letting the day unfold. Mindset is super, super key because we start every single day at a level mindset. Now, maybe there's that thing where you're super excited about, and the minute your eyes open, you're like, yes, let's go. I can't wait. And you're just super fired up. Or maybe your eyes open and you're thinking about that thing that you dread and you don't want to do. And already your mindset's on the other way around. But most common, we start our day with a mindset that's at level. So how do we build from level to go up? And the thing is that we check our phones. You know, you get your phone, you're looking at your phone, it's 5 a.m., 6 a.m., whatever time you wake up, you're reading emails, you're reading the news. That is already starting the process of either helping your mindset, but more often detracting from your mindset. And there's a key thing that I really want you to think about, which comes down to the fact that nothing ever happens to us. Doesn't matter whatever the news is, what we hear, what we read, what we think, nothing happens to us. Like, I can't believe this is happening to me. I don't have that phrase. That phrase does not exist in my world. Why? Because it comes down to the fact that it is how I choose to react to what is happening in my world. So whether somebody says no when you're trying to sell them insurance, whether something happens with your kids and they're frustrating you, whether something happens in the world events and you're like, oh, why is this happening to me? It's how you choose to react to it. And so for mindset, I wake up level, then I find 1 or 2 or 3 things that I'm super fired up about that day. I'm super fired up. Like Sanjay said, just pick one thing. Okay, I'm fired up about that thing. Let's move towards that. And then if anything else comes my way, because it will, all day long, you're being just bombarded with things that are going to challenge you. You have to say, well, okay, this is here. How am I going to choose to react to that thing? And then acknowledge how that is happening. And then at the end of the day, you can debrief yourself and you can unpack it and you can say, that thing that threw me a curveball that really challenged me today, next time something like that happens, I'm going to choose to react slightly differently. When you do all of those things, your mindset will always be above the line, not below. The line is being level. I choose to be above the line as often as possible. And why is that the best case scenario? Because when you're above the line with mindset and those challenging things come your way, you're more prepared to handle them than feeling that word of overwhelm. And I know that happens for so many people. I'm overwhelmed. So that's how I do it. And that's what I recommend for anybody listening, is to do those things throughout the day. Wake up, choose a positive mindset to show up at 100%, choose how you're going to react to things in life. And at the end of the day, understand that you're human and it's okay that you were challenged or that you may have had a couple of dips or mistakes in the day, but unpack them so that you become a better human being for the next day.
Excellent, excellent. How about you, Sanjay? What if you wake up in the morning and I don't know if that happens to you and you don't see yourself in the right mindset? So what do you do?
You're on mute, Sanjay.
We all have good days and bad days, right? And I want to give you a very simple way of waking up, right? So every morning I ask myself 2 questions. Sanjay, why are you in this business? And Sanjay, why should a client work with you? So there are 2 questions that I ask myself every day since I've joined this business. Why are you in this business? And why should a client work with you? If you cannot answer these 2 questions on a daily basis to yourself, you have no reason to be meeting people. So why are you in this business? Now, I want you to think about this, right? You could be selling shoes, you could be selling handbags, you could be selling cars, you could be selling anything in the world. Why did you choose to sell life insurance? Very important question. because you could sell anything and make money. Why did you choose this profession? And the second question is, why should a client work with you? What makes you so special that your clients should spend that time with you? They give you 15 minutes of the day, they give you 2 hours of the day, it doesn't matter. Why should they spend that time with you? And if you can't give yourself that reason, you will find a reason to quit from this business. So every morning, number one is try to figure out the answer to these two questions. If you wake up on a day when you're feeling rubbish, you have a whole list of people that you should be meeting anyways. So before you go to sleep, have a schedule for the next day so that you know what are the few things that you have to get done. Because we do get up on a day when we wake up on the wrong side of the bed, you should still have a schedule to follow. Because if you don't have a schedule, you will stay in bed and you will still continue to feel unproductive. So the best way is to have a schedule before you go to sleep so that the next day when you wake up, you don't have to think what I should be doing or where I should be starting. You should actually be thinking, how do I implement what I have to do? So you get all the things done that you're supposed to have done. And if you still feel rubbish, go and meet that one client that brightens your day. We all have that one client or two clients that we love to meet with. Find those few clients and you could just go have a cup of coffee, relax. You don't have to make every day productive, but you have to make every day useful. So spend some time either improving yourself or helping someone else improve, right? So that's the way I look at my days. Before I go to bed, I have a schedule for the next day. Wake up in the morning, I feel the energy. I don't want to waste that energy on planning. Rather, I want to waste that energy. I want to use that energy to implement what I'm supposed to do. And if I wake up and I feel rubbish, I get done all the things that I need to get done so that I've not wasted the day. And then I go and spend the rest of the day with someone that puts a smile on my face. And that's how I approach every day, literally.
Wonderful, wonderful. Kenyon, an important question to you. When we talk about the mental energy, and of course we think about the physical energy, and having done 8,000 skydives, I'm sure this takes a lot of physical energy as well. So I don't know how technically you do that time-wise as well. So you must be probably training to start doing speeches while you're diving. But so how about the physical energy? So what are the golden keys and golden tips to improve the overall wellness of the people? So are there any things that people can do or agents can do to stay fit even when they don't have time to exercise?
Absolutely. And when it comes to that, it's all about mindset. And to have that breakdown, you have to be willing to keep the body in motion. So for me, I fully believe to be my best self, I also must be my best self physically. And I know I feel better when I go to the gym or when I hike a mountain or when I go skydive or I go do something that is outside of what I normally do, speaking, business, working in the office, on Zoom calls, all the things, managing, I got 2 kids, the family, all of that stuff. And it really comes down to the fact that motion equals emotion. Motion equals emotion. So whether you just get up and you go for a walk in the morning and you walk a kilometer and then you come home or a mile, whatever, and then you feel, okay, all right, I'm feeling a bit more awake today. I'm ready to do this. Or you go to the gym or you do something that gets the body moving. And what I've decided in my world is that being physically active, whether it's hiking, walking, running, biking, going to the gym, doing something that gets my body moving, I know that that is part of my business. It's not, I should go to the gym or I need to, or it's that extra thing. It is part of my business. It is equally as important as making phone calls. So the nutrition that I take in and then being physically active is equally as important for my business. Why? Well, a couple of things. One, I'm on stage all the time. I want to look my best. I want to look good in my tailored suit. They're looking at me for 2 hours. Or an hour or whatever. I want them to make sure that they're looking at least the best possible me I could be. On top of that, when I'm traveling, and it's go, 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 go. My body needs to be in the best physical shape and have the energy to be able to manage those things so that if I'm low on sleep or I've put all my energy over here at this event and then 10 hours later, I'm in another city at this event. Same thing. Think about how it shows up for your client. If you show up and you want to work with your clients and you're low on energy, that gas tank is empty, then you're not giving your best self. Think about maybe when you were younger and you would pull up to get petrol. You get your gas, you pull up to the station, and instead of filling the tank all the way to full, you give a couple of dollars, a little bit of money in order to just get it above so that the light comes off the car, so that the warning light that says you're low on petrol comes off. Most people are running their lives just above where the light is going to come on. And then the light comes on and they just give it a little bit more, which means you're near empty 99% of the time. I choose to fill it all the way up, which means that you have to do that. Now, you asked, Jade, you said, hey, well, what if I don't have enough time? It is proven that if you go to the gym for an hour, you are more productive in 8 hours than somebody is in 9.5 hours. This simple math says that if you go to the gym for an hour or do something active, you're more productive in 8 hours than someone who is in 9.5. Well, what does that say? That means that if you go to the gym, you will still have a bonus half hour to do what you want and enjoy yourself, and you will have been as productive. So that's how I really manage energies, knowing that being in physical activity is part of my business, is part of my life so that I can live long. And you have to have a why. The last why is, why do you go to the gym? Like Sanjay says, when you wake up, like, why am I in this business? Every time I'm at the gym, I say, why am I doing this? And there are a couple of things that come up. One, I want to be around for my kids. Two, the longer I live, the more lives I will impact. I say those two things every time I'm at the gym. I'm here for my kids and I will impact more lives if I live longer. And that's what it comes down to.
Great one, Kenyon. Sanjay.
And you're on mute, Sanjay.
Unmute.
I have to agree with Kenyon on two things. Number one is, as financial advisors, we are also technically health advisors. Think about it. The only factor that affects your ability to buy insurance is your health. It's not how much money you have or how much assets or liabilities you have. It's your health that allows you to buy insurance. So what Kenyon just said is part of our business. Would we actually go to a gym where the gym instructor is fat? Probably not, right? Would we go to a doctor, to a dentist who's got bad teeth? Probably not. And that same comes down to our profession, that would you work with a financial advisor that hasn't figured out his own money? And we keep telling our clients it's health that buys insurance, but we don't have good health. So Kenyon's absolutely correct that in our business, from a marketing perspective as well, having the ability to be physically fit would help us get more sales as well. So think from that perspective. Now, you want to do prospecting, go to the gym. You will meet a few people over there. It's a great place to prospect, right? It's a great place to have that conversation. So if you don't really know who to talk to, where to find people to talk to, go to the gym. It's a great social place. People are there to be healthy, and majority of your healthy people actually work out. So your potential clients are also there. Kenyon, thanks for sharing that, because it's a practice that I've started to build as well. I'm absolutely always had the excuse that I don't have time, but I've made it a habit for the last 3 months, and I'm hoping I can continue that habit, is to go to the gym every single day. So you're absolutely correct. It's about building good habits, and this is definitely a good habit to have.
Awesome, Sanjay. Glad to hear it.
Let me here also ask you, motivation is a crucial element of success. How do you remain motivated when things go wrong?
This is such a big one, and I really, really like it. And I just had a quick thought about what Sanjay said about going to the gym and then prospecting at the gym. I had this idea that Sanjay's exiting an airplane on a tandem, and as he gets out of the plane, he's like, by the way, do you have insurance? You know, so Sanjay's open to connecting and prospecting whoever he's around, even if it's his skydive instructor that's on his back. I love that. So really, how does it come down to motivation? And how do you motivate yourself even when you're challenged? That is the human experience. The human experience is motivating ourselves when the world is against us. And sometimes the world that's against us is just the person in here. We think that it's all this outside environment, this person, that person, my job, my work, my kids, the outside environment is against us. But ultimately, it comes down to that mindset. And it's just us that says, yes, we're going to do it and let the how figure itself out later. Or no, I'm going to sit on the couch and I'm going to binge watch Netflix. Those are your two options. And that's what happens with motivation. So what I find with motivation is that sometimes you have to help yourself. Here's an example for me. I have a lot of things that I will say, I need to do this first, X, Y, and Z before I can go out and do that. Then I finally do all those things and I'm ready to go do my adventure of the day. And sometimes motivation is low. We all have it. Like, oh, I'm just feeling a little unmotivated today. So what I do is I stack myself in a positive way so that all the objections are out of the way. Here it is. Let's just say it's hard to get in the car, drive out with all my adventure gear and go on that adventure. Well, what I do the night before is I pack the car the night before when I'm super fired up. So I get the car packed, I'm all ready, I get it all there. I make sure everything is taken care of. So then when it comes down to the time where I can choose to either stay in the house or leave the house, I simply say, well, what's in front of me? I just have to get in the car. That's all I have to do. I just have to walk down the stairs, open the door, get in the vehicle, and drive away. Everything's ready. How does that show up in business life? If you prepare in advance and you say, well, I'm a little bit nervous about prospecting, or I'm a little bit nervous about meeting this client, or whatever the objection in your brain is, you prepare everything in advance. And then there's got to be some time. I'm not talking about procrastination, where you procrastinate all the way to the end and then you prepare and then you're ready. You have to leave a gap of time. So you get everything ready. You have all that there. Everything is prepared. Then whether it's 10 hours or 2 days, it's super easy when it comes time to do that thing because you know you're prepared and your brain can't beat you. It can't defeat you. Your brain can't say, no, you're not ready. Don't do it. You're scared, all those things. You're like, no, you've prepared. You're ready. You got this. You can make this happen. And you're like, oh, all I have to do is put one foot in front of the other and then I'm there and then it all happens. And that's the way it shows up on stage. People ask me all the time, how do you not get nervous on stage? Well, I'm prepared. I know the client. I know the event. I know my content. I know what I need to do. All I have to do is wait for them to say, and welcome to the stage, Kenyon Salo. And I do that. And then I'm on the stage and then I'm ready. So in summary, what am I saying here? You must prepare. You must understand your knowledge and be ready. And then you must give a gap of time between that so that when it comes time to do it, it's easy. You just do it.
Great one. Great one, Kenyon. Indeed, lovely. Jad?
Speaking also of, you both mentioned, the Kenyon and Sanjay, you both mentioned in the beginning about opening conversations. So it's very important when we're talking about prospecting and you said about the open conversations. So speaking of that, we all know that open conversations build relationships. So what are your tips to make effective conversations with people? So how does it start? How does it go? I will start with you, Kenyon.
To open conversations, It literally is the fact that you need to open conversations. If we understand the basic fact that every person next to us, passing by us in our vicinity, is going through something, if you understand that every person around you is going through something, you realize that they are human just like you. Every person on this planet is working through something at some time, whatever that is, whether it's financially, physically, relationships, spiritually, whatever it is, people are working through something in that moment. You have an opportunity to be able to get to that person immediately when you connect on that level. So instead of the superficial stuff like, wow, the weather's great today, or that looks good, or whatever, you move to a place that when you start a conversation, you actually want to know who they are as a human being. One of the things that I use in a common scenario, and this happened with someone who is now my best friend. So I was at the skydive drop zone. There was a guy that was packing his parachute, getting ready to do another skydive. And it's just a community like any other community. Whatever you do, whatever the thing is that you like, you're around a community of people, but you probably don't know all the people in that community. So I didn't know who he was, and I had seen him around. So I was like, hey, how's it going? You also like to, wingsuit skydive? I like to wingsuit, so some of the basics. He said, yes. And I said, your name's Andrew. He said, yeah. And I said, I'm Kenyon. And I said, hey, Andrew, I have a question for you. What is something that not many people know about you? And I ask this question a lot because I think it's really important, because it allows that person to think for a second, what is something that makes me who I am, or what is something they're proud of, or something that they would love to share, but they don't often share. And he says to me, yeah, a lot of people don't know that I walked a puma on a daily basis in Belize in the jungle. Wait. You walked a puma in the jungle on a daily basis. All of a sudden, there's this huge opportunity to say, what, where, when, why, how, tell me more. I've got to understand this. And basically, he was volunteering down there where he was helping reintroduce this animal into the environment that had been in captivity. And so they would take them on daily walks on a big rope. And sometimes the puma would turn on him and grab his leg. That's why they had another person and they would help fend it off. It was part of the process. But every day they're teaching, and the puma's name was Roy, right? So it's like Roy. So now I'm really getting into knowing who this is. We are now best friends. We now talk on a regular basis. This is 10 years after that question. What's the difference here? I started a conversation. I wanted to know him personally, and I was willing to listen to whatever he had to share. When you don't start the conversation, you will not know that human being, hands down. When you start the conversation, you have the opportunity, not always guaranteed, but you have the opportunity to really get to know who that human being is.
Jihad, you're unmuted.
Yes, excellent, Kenyon. And what about you, Sanjay? What do you think about open conversations? How do you get them started?
So if you remember the example that Kenyon shared, right? That when you get onto an aircraft, you have someone sitting next to you, and you have to go out of that comfort zone just to say hello to them. There are two ways to start conversation. So I've kind of put a structure to conversation starters, because I realized we all want to start a conversation, but we don't know how to. So if we follow kind of what I call a blueprint on conversation starters, there are two ways you can start a conversation. You can either start with a question, or you can start with an experience or a case study, right? So those are your two usual blueprints of how to start conversations. Now, let's say you're on the aircraft and someone comes and sits next to you. You can start that conversation with a question. And we start with the usual question of, hi, how are you? The worst question you can probably ask is, where are you going? Right? I mean, you're on the aircraft together. You don't want to be asking that person where you're going, because it's a stupid question. So having a question prepared allows you to know that you're starting the conversation correctly. So when someone's sitting next to you on the aircraft, a very general question, I think that works very well, is, are you traveling for work or pleasure? Everyone's either traveling for either one or for both, and it doesn't matter. It's not a very intrusive question, but it starts the conversation. Now, once the conversation starts, if there's a little bit of comfort level, then Kenyan actually gave you a very interesting second question. What's one thing about you that no one knows? Or what's the one thing about you that makes you wake up every day and go to work? Those questions will tell you a lot more about that person. And I want you all to think about this. Your conversation starts either with a question or an experience or case study, where people also want to know what you have done differently. So if you start your conversation, whether it goes productively, whether it goes in the right direction or not, at least you have now started building a connection. That connection could lead to a new relationship. And those relationships could eventually help your business get better. So your conversation starters are based only on two factors, either a question or a case study or an experience of yours. So those are a very simple blueprint on conversation starters.
Yes, Sanjay. Yes, excellent, Sanjay. Thank you. Wonderful. Kenyan, let me go back to you. And this is in all the videos that we see, everything you talk about giving back to the community and supporting people helps you become a better person. What do you recommend all the attendees, the agent, to do to nurture this point?
Ooh, I love this. This is where I really believe the reason why all of us as humans, why we're on the planet. You see, first we create experiences in our life, and we're creating those experiences because it's about self. We love to connect with other human beings all the time, so we share stories and we hear their stories. That's the bond that makes it friends and family. But ultimately, why do we live more fulfilled? Why do we want to live more fulfilled? What makes us most happy? And there was a study that was done that I did with 10 nursing home individuals between the age of 86 and 96 years old. And what it came down to was we asked them 4 questions. What is something that you did when you were younger? What is something you wish you had done? What is something you're most proud of? And what are words of wisdom that you would like to pass along? All of them, again, ages 86 to 96, all of them answered number 3 the same. What is something you're most proud of? And in their aging years, they all answered the fact that they loved when they helped others, when they gave back, when they made a difference, when they donated time, when they donated money. Those things were the key factors in their aging years that they were looking back most fondly on. You see, when we help others without the expectation of return, everything will come back tenfold, every single time. And a lot of us, especially in the sales world, we think, oh, we have to close this deal. We have to get that money. We have to meet this certain level. We have to be able to do that. Well, the thing is that those things will happen when you don't focus on the money, when you don't focus on the sale. When you focus on helping others first, they will feel that, and they will know that you are authentic, that you are coming from a place of love, that you are genuine, and they will want to work with you. Your bank account, that number in your bank account is a reflection of the number of people that you have helped. It is a scorekeeper. It is the very thing that says the number of people that I'm helping along the way, that money will go up. If you're working for an organization, that organization, when they're focused on helping others be better in their life, do better things, that number will go up. One of the things that I love about Sanjay, and it's one of the very first things I remember when I met him, was that he shared to me how he had written a book and then multiple books, and how he donates money from those to help others. And then to understand the level, we're not just talking about 1 digit, 2 digit, 3 digits. We're talking about multiple digits of donation. What I noticed when Sanjay was sharing that with me is that was the thing that lit him up the most. What made him most excited to share with me, that how he was helping others. You could see the smile on his face. You could see it in his eyes. You could feel it in his soul, that he felt an immense amount of positivity in his world in knowing that he was giving back and helping others. And that's why I think it's so important that when we focus there. And when I talk about mindset, maybe you're feeling stuck. Maybe you're feeling in a place right now where you're like, I just can't get going. I'm in a rut. I'm stuck. I need some motivation. One of the best things you can do is, instead of comparing up, I always say compare down. What I mean by that is you can always look and say, wow, where I'm at, the people there are challenged immensely more than me. Maybe it's famine. Maybe it's fires that they've had ripped through their town, a weather event, whatever it is, a financial collapse in their country. They are being challenged more ways than I am. And so what do I say in terms of being able to get out of that rut? How can I help others? Whether it's donating time at a homeless shelter, whether it's going to the children's hospital and just meeting the kids, saying, hey, I'm one of the skydivers that jumps into the NFL football games. I'm wearing my suit and I get to see their faces light up and I get to share some stories. Those things aren't about the money. I don't get paid to do any of those things, but I get paid to do those things. And what I mean by that is my soul is filled up. And when my soul is filled up, it's easier for me to go out in my day and make a difference and connect with individuals and make the world a better place. And so when your cup is full because you've helped others, your cup will also fill up with people wanting to be able to do business with you, work with you, partner with you, and be a part of who you are and what you're doing for the world. And that is why helping others is first and foremost the thing that we want to do as humans on this planet.
Excellent. Excellent.
Wow,
Okay.
wow, wow, wow. Living is giving. Sorry, Shad. Sanjay, what you have in this point?
One of the most important things is to understand what's the purpose of your life, right? And I ask this to a lot of my clients who have reached the age of about 40, 45, that do you think this is the best you could have done? And I want all of you all to think about this. Do you think this is the best you could have done? Because around the age of 40 and 45, where you're at that halfway point through life, and we call this the midlife crisis, the question is this the best thing that you could have done? Or is this the best you could have done? Because we have the opportunity, so we have the experience, we have the energy level still there, and we still have the opportunity to make a difference in people's lives around us. And I have realized one thing, that the more you give, the more you get back. And it's something that we've studied in every culture, any religion that you come from. We have always been told this, that when you give 1 to the universe, you get 10 back from the universe. So the question is, what are you doing to give back to the society around you? We all have already been blessed with one very interesting thing, is our business. And I want you all to think about this. In the world of insurance, we take care of families that are not even ours. And if you do a good job, I promise you that your clients will only give you back a lot more than you do for them. So keep this in mind. We all have the ability to give back. We all have the ability to either give money, time, talent. You have the ability to give something back. It's not about what you give. It's about, do you give it or not? So learn to be a little selfless, even if you are selfish. Because if you're truly selfish, you will actually become more and more selfless. You know one thing for sure, right? If I give you an investment where you put $1, you get $10 back, would you do that investment? Think about it. So even if you're truly selfish, I want you to do that $1 investment into the universe, because you will get back 10 times. So if you're truly selfish, you should actually be completely selfless, because the more you give into the universe, the more you will get back in multiple folds. So, you know, when people say, hey, you're so selfish, I'm like, no, this guy is not selfish, because selfish people give knowing the fact that they will get back. And it's a known fact that you will get back. In which kind, which form, you probably don't know that, but you know you will get back. So learn to give. And I promise you, you will get back way more than you could have ever imagined. Kenyan's absolutely correct. I am not a very charitable person. So let me be very clear about that. I did not expect to sell that many books. I did not expect to be having so much money to give away. That was not the plan. My target was selling 500 books. We've now crossed millions of copies, but my target was only 500 books. But as soon as I agreed to give that away, it went from 500 books to millions of books today. It allows you to understand one very simple fundamental. When you have built to give, you will get. So guys, if you truly want to get a lot in life, you have to just give it away. And the more you give away, I promise you, you, your family, your generations to come will get so much more. We know that for a fact. No one becomes rich. No one becomes successful by themselves. They become successful because society supports them. When society supports you, the reason why society supports you is because you are willing to do whatever is required for society. Keep that in mind. No one becomes successful as individual. Everyone becomes successful based on whether society wants you to become successful. And society will only make those people successful, those who are willing to give back to society.
Wow, Sanjay. Wow, Kenyan. Oof. This is great, great, great. You know, every time we listen to you, really, it reminds us what we need to do in order to succeed as a person, to be a better person in every society. Because as you said, living is giving. And because we always promise that bliss, it's not anymore an event. It's not anymore a conference. It will be an experience that will all together work hand in hand, especially the life insurance agent, to work, because we visit a lot of people. We enter lots of houses all around the world, and we are a messenger of God, from God, as always Sanjay said. And for this and many things others later, Jad will talk about, especially about the structure for Bliss 2022. Also, I need to say that there is 2 announcements. First, the first 10 registration will enter a draw to win 3 prizes. Spa treatment in Haptur. So thank you for Haptur Grand for this prize. A free refund of the purchase of the physical ticket, and VIP session, free ticket to enter the VIP session on the 3rd day of Bliss 2022. And the second announcement, for every one of you, already you receive by email a background, a Zoom background. So share it on social media or put it in a caption or a 30-second reel stating why you love Bliss experience. The highest number in the first 1 week will also win a ticket as a physical to attend Bliss 2022. The second, he will win a VIP ticket, or the third will win a ticket to enter the gala dinner that we will make at the end of the last day of Bliss 2022. So for all of the attendees, after we will make some questions more for our speakers, Jad, he will announce the structure, and you will receive by email about all the registration or how you can register and the structure about the Bliss 2022. Jad,
I have some final question before moving there. So for both of you, but we're gonna have a quick answer for this question, although it's a tough question. Besides, of course, giving back, and besides the mindset, and besides the physical energy and so on, sometimes, unfortunately, things happen and an agent could face a downtime and could need some cash. So most of the agents could go from time to time out of cash, and their demotivation becomes very related to the financial issues. So what would you advise these people to get back on track in a fast way?
Sanjay, you want to go first?
So Jad just asked me to become a financial advisor to financial advisors. That's pretty much what Jad made me do. So guys, from a financial advisor perspective, right? I want you all to remember one thing, that as financial advisors, if we don't have our money sorted out, it's very difficult to tell our clients to manage their money. So let me give you a quick tip, which is purely financial advice, right? Which we should be doing anyways. And we tend to overlook it because we think it won't happen to us, right? I mean, I'm a financial advisor. I'm sure it won't happen to me. Have 3 to 6 months of your expenses in cash. It's a given. You have to have 3 to 6 months of expenses in cash, because whenever there's a market downturn, it takes you 2 to 3 months just to figure it out. It takes you another 3 months to test strategies. So you need to be able to buy at least 6 months for yourself. Now, this is advice that we give to our clients anyways. The problem is, how many of us follow it? So a financial advisor that doesn't follow their own financial advice will look desperate, and desperate financial advisors do end up getting hurt. So do one thing, relook at your own financial plans right now so that you don't reach in that position. However, if you are already in that position, right? So if there's anyone in this group that's already in the position where they feel that they've now started looking desperate, I want you all to start speaking to clients about the mistakes that you have made. Remember one thing, owning up to your mistakes allows people to realize that they might have made that mistake and will help you take the correct actions. Asking for help or sharing your bad experience is very, very important. So if you are truly struggling with money today, tell your clients about the mistake that you made as a financial advisor. The biggest mistake being you didn't take care of your own money, and tell them why they should be taking care of their money and not repeat the mistakes that you have made. So that's the simplest piece of advice that I could give you. One as a financial advisor and one as a fellow colleague.
Sanjay, that's super powerful. And I realize that when it comes to a lot of people in this industry, is they're either working on their business or they're working in their business. And it's the same for me as a speaker. Again, am I working on my business or in my business? Well, what are the differences there? When you're working on your business, you might be getting things ready, you're reading books, you're attending seminars, you're doing all the things to get ready so that you're ready for when you're in front of the client. When you're working in your business, you're actually on the phone, you're on a Zoom call, you're meeting that person in person. Now, what it comes down to is if you're being challenged on the cash flow side of things, you have to ask yourself, am I spending more time working on my business or am I spending more time working in my business? And what it comes down to is what I call IPAs, income producing activities. Are you doing income producing activities, which will bring the cash flow in, put it in your bank account, and then allow the machine to keep running? If you're not doing IPAs, then eventually you will sink. So there has to be this balance between working on your business and working in your business. So right now I'm working on my business. I am here on this call. I am giving of my time to be able to share the knowledge that I have. I'm in my office later today. I have more calls to make and things like that. When I'm working in my business, I'm on stage. That is an income producing activity for me. Somebody could see me on stage and say, wow, that was really amazing. I want you to come to my event. That is an income producing activity. So really think about how you're going to balance your day and how you are showing up for your day and your IPAs, income producing activities.
So guys, what Kenyon just said is IPAs, right? What's the IPA in our business? It's activity, activity, activity. Pick up that phone, call people, pick up that phone, meet people, pick up that phone, and have a conversation. That's an IPA in our business, right? So our business is about opening conversations. It's about having those conversations. If you don't have opening, closing doesn't work. You cannot close a case you haven't opened, right? Open your cases. If you open your cases, your closing ratio does not matter, because your closing ratio is only a percentage of opening. So even if your closing ratio is small, but your opening ratio is very high, your closing ratio will get you success. So get that straight. Kenyan just said it. It's IPAs, right? So you need to do your income producing actions or activities. And in our business, that's only opening up conversations. That's an IPA, opening conversations. It doesn't matter who you open it with. It's just a question of whether you do it or not. And if you get that done, you sitting in your agency, you sitting in your office is not an IPA. You sitting on the phone and looking at, or what we call WhatsApp text messaging, or going through Facebook, that's not IPA. You sitting and posting on social media, that's not IPA. Please understand that. Your IPA is having conversations. That is your true IPA in our business. And if you don't do that, you have no one else to blame except yourself.
I would like to add one quick note in this regard, Sanjay. I don't know if you agree, but sometimes by being on Facebook or on LinkedIn and so on, maybe they can open the conversation by a message and then take it from there. So that will become.
Don't do that either. So Jad, you're absolutely correct. Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram is a mode of communication. The problem is when we are on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, what are we actually doing? We are stalking. We are wasting time stalking. We're actually looking at what people are doing rather than doing the activity that we have to do. When was the last time you went on Facebook and said, I'm actually going to message people and tell them, when do I meet you? You actually go on Facebook and you're going through people's stories and you're going through people's, and you end up realizing you've just spent 2 hours going through a lot of people's life without interacting with their life. So you're absolutely correct. These are all modes of communication, but do you actually use it for what it was built? Is communicate, or are you using it for stalking? And that's the gap. So you're correct. Any mode of communication is good. However, are you using it for that? And that's what I would say.
Wow, wow, Sanjay. And as you said in the beginning of this session, by the way, I think we need maybe 6 hours to finish this this session, and it will not finish.
We will save them for this 2022, Najib.
If only you take one idea from this session, you can take this IPAs, activity, again and again, again and again, again and again. So I think the time we still need have 10-15 minutes. So before we go to with Jad to talk about in brief about the Bliss 2022, let's go and watch a video about again and again Adyar Bliss 2021. Thank you. Welcome to Beirut Life Insurance Seminar, Bliss 2021.
Wonderful, wonderful, Naji. Every time I watch the videos, I really get excited about this from one year to another. And for those who attended Bliss 1 year after another, they really felt that things were improving naturally and growing from 1 year to another, with each year with a new concept, and each and every year with something else and a new theme. So the main question that everybody is asking is, now what? First, now what for Bliss? So what's going to happen next? Is it going to be the same thing? Is it going to be a different thing? And also, with everything that is going around, people are confused. So should we go back to basics, and or should we jump to the future? Do we need to go to the metaverse and the blockchain and going online and adapting to new technologies, or do we have to go back to the basics of selling and to insurance and so on? Is COVID over? Nobody knows. Should we take off those masks or not? Are the airports will be open or not? Is the war over or not? Is the economy going up or down? What is coming next? So I think that the questions are really very big, and everybody is asking and wondering what should we be ready to face. So that's where the main question came: dear life, now what? So should we go back to the past, adapt to the future, live the present, and how to do it? So from here, the concept came this year. First, please make sure to book your dates. So technically speaking, this is the 5th consecutive year, with all the ups and downs, with all the challenges, with everything that happened around, and especially in Beirut, unfortunately. So again, this year, Bliss 2022, for sure it will happen in Beirut, Lebanon. So as usual, we will make it no matter what happens. Hopefully that nothing will happen, but we will make it happen. So we'll be waiting for everybody to join us, whether physically or online. Of course, we would love you to come physically, because it's going to be on the 6th, 7th, and 8th of October 2022. I think if my voice is a little bit down, it must be uplifted from there, because I'm already at the high level here. So everybody's hearing well? Okay, great. So technically, it's gonna be again in Hilton Beirut Habtour Grand Hotel, and for those who will attend it physically for the first 2 days, and the 3rd day it will be a surprise. It will be as a VIP session with the top speakers, and we promise you that this year it will be, as Naji said, an experience that you really never forget. So we're gonna focus on the experience people get, especially that year after year, it's becoming really not an event, but an experience that everybody's feeling and everybody is enjoying. And we want to keep that momentum going up. So the program will be split between 6 to 7 categories. We'll be discussing the details later on, but just to give you some hints. So the first category will be about companies. So where are insurance companies going now? So now what for companies? So we will be having panels and interviews and a lot of discussions with CEOs of top companies about that. The second one is now what for managers, whether unit managers or head of departments. I'm sure that they have a lot of questions on now what when it comes to technically recruitment, training, managing, retaining, and so on. Same for agents, same for working women, new graduates who are graduating right now and wanting to see now what to do. So technology, now what? Where are we heading? Top speakers, now what? Beirut, now what? This is going to be a very, very interesting session. And business in general, now what? So these are the top grand titles that will be happening. Some things will be in the main platform and other things will happen in the focus sessions and in parallel sessions. So yes, there will be focus sessions and entertainment, whether testimonials, whether technical knowledge, building alliances, awareness about different types of investment products, skills in different areas, soft skills and others. There will be workshops, there will be recruitment opportunities, there will be breakfast session with top speakers, gala dinner with the sponsors and the press release, and entertainment program, learning new hobbies directly on stage. So it will be really a great experience. There will be also a networking exhibition area. So for exhibitors from different parties, from the speakers booth, the lounge area, and there will be a lot of also we would love you to join as ambassadors as well. We will talk about this in future emails and communications to become part of the Bliss community and support Bliss grow worldwide step by step. So I won't tell you a lot about the speakers. Definitely there will be again private sessions for insurance companies, for trainers and coaches, and for other companies to promote their products and services related to insurance and to agents. And last but not least, let me tell you that the registration time now, while we're speaking now, you just got an email about all the details, so you can take it from there. You can join also the website, the new website of blissexperience.com, where you will see all the details and updates. Make sure that you keep checking every now and then because details will be there. Keep in mind that to finalize in May, technically you will have the early bird registration having 20% discount on the tickets. Then from June to August, you will have the standard pricing, 15 August to 15 September, it will increase by 20. And on 16 September, the registrations will close. So this is in summary what you will have. I would love to tell you more, but time doesn't really allow for now. So I will just tell you that this year it will be really exciting, really interesting. The experience will be in each and every detail. And that's really a promise that we will deliver for sure.
Jad, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yes, as you said, there will be a lot of communication to talk about the experience of Bliss again and again, and to mind everyone, especially the life insurance agent, is what we are doing. It's to push, to motivate, to inspire the agent to become a member in the highest association in the world in our profession, the Premium Association for Financial Profession, MDRT, $1 Million Roundtable. So for all the life insurance agents, all the managers of the insurance, make sure to work on yourself to be among the top agent in the world and a top advisor in the world and a member in MDRT, $1 Million Roundtable. That's where the place that I met my brothers and my family, my second family, and I built my second family, MDRT, where it took me and it changed my life. And I'm sure it changed the life for many, many, many people all around the world. And God bless MDRT that to show me that the whole person concept, and it's all about living is giving. And it's all about how the more we work on ourselves, the more we can be a better person in every society, despite where we're coming from any family, any country, any association, any society. It's all about we as a person, how we become a better person. And here, Jad, before we go to the closing, because already we have almost 4 minutes before we close the session, and I want to thank big thanks to Sanjay, my brother, for your time. I'm sure from your busy time, and Kenyan, really, we're looking forward to see you, both of you, this year. We are waiting for you here in Lebanon again and again this year. What do you have a last message? And I will start with Kenyan. What do you have a last message for all the audience? And what do you promise? Because you will be here with a long session this year in Beirut, October 2022. What do you have a message, last message, and what you are promising all the audience? Thank you.
Ultimately, it comes down to no matter what you do every single day, is be authentically you. Show up as you. You can't show up as Sanjay. You can't show up as me. You can't show up as anybody else. Just show up as authentically you. And when people feel your authenticity, they want to be around you. They want to be with you. They will want to do business with you because you are truly authentic. And for Bliss 2022 in Lebanon, I promise that I'm going to bring my best self, my authentic self, to give you the tools, tips, tricks, ninja tactics, all the things that you need to increase both personally and professionally and level up your game.
Thank you, Kenyon. Sanjay, my brother, my friend, doctor, the most educated, one of the most educated agent on earth. What do you have? A last message, and what do you promise all the audience? And before also, see you in Boston.
First of all, I promise to see you in Boston. So for all those of you who are attending MDRT in Boston, I do promise to see all of you all there. If I could leave you with one simple message, don't lose focus of the purpose you're in this business for. Don't lose focus on why you joined this business, and don't lose focus on making sure you give your best advice to your client. I promise you, if you do your best, you will get success. This business is about giving your best to your clients. It is a marriage. It is till death do us part. It is through sickness and health, and it is through rich and poor. You need to be with your clients. That marriage, those promises are your responsibility. If you live up to your promises, I promise you that society will live up to their promises towards you. So just keep that in mind, that you need to live up to your promises. Don't lose focus of the promises that you have made to your clients. Don't lose focus of the promises that you have made to your family. And don't lose focus to the promises that you have made to yourself. And I will leave you with exactly that. Is this the best that you could do? Think about it.
Really, what a wonderful session. Guys, I'm sure you are seeing the comments in the chat. I'm receiving a lot of messages on WhatsApp, Facebook, from all around the world, from Singapore, from Canada, from America, from Hong Kong, from Arab country, from Cyprus, from Greece. So really, thank you so much for this great session. So when we name it the Mega Duo Volcano, we meant it, the Mega Duo Volcano. Thank you so much, Sanjay, for this great session. Kenyon, thank you so much for this great session. Looking forward to see you again and again. For all the audience, already you receive an email about the Bliss 2022, all the ideas, all the information, you receive it with time. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. And as Sanjay and Kenyon said, is this what the maximum you can do? Is this the maximum you can be as a better person? Make sure that you always can be better. Be better as a person. And from this point, we can change the world to be a better place. Thank you so much. God bless you. Thank you, Jad. Thank you, Damcom Group, Eli, and all the team, Legacy Builders team. God bless you. God bless MDRT, and God bless everyone. Let's take the last picture about my beautiful country, my beautiful Beirut. That's why we need Bliss, the Associate Beirut Life Insurance Seminars. So let's take a look about the beautiful Beirut, and looking forward to see each and every one of you here, to see the beach, to see the mountain, to see the culture, and hand in hand, we help our countries. We help each and everyone. We stand together for a better. And this is Lebanon now is waiting for you to stand next to him in his tough times. God bless you. God bless everyone. God bless MDRT, and God bless our lovely profession, life insurance. Thank you.
I can see a lot of people on the beach.